But if you are blocked in your creativity and you really want to do whatever your creative outlet is to not expect yourself to be good or perfect. Just create something. In fact, sometimes I tell my students, play badly. Play that piece, but play it as badly as you can. Make all the mistakes that you can. Of course, they don't, right? So once you take off the pressure of having to be good, whatever that means,
That's cool.
so it opens the door. So whatever you're doing, just set out and say, okay, I'm going to write a really bad song. Just do it. And then you have something to work with, even if it is a bad song, which probably won't be, but even if it is, then you can go back and edit and change things, right? But when you've got
Sure.
that like, I only have half an hour and I need, let's say, just say it's writing a song, and I need to write a really good song, it's not going to happen.
No. Marina, I'm so happy to have you back here for some more bonus content for our patrons. Patrons, we really appreciate you. This is for you. We appreciate the time and treasure that you give us every month. And so we're going to give some extra deep, juicy information about Marina for you. Yeah.
What? I have
So,
a big
Marina.
question mark on my head right now. Huh? Use this for the thumbnail. Huh?
So, what advice would you offer to someone who's blocked and would like to regain their creative flow?
What a great question. So, obviously, we're all individuals and different things speak to different people. But if you are blocked in your creativity and you really want to do whatever your creative outlet is to not expect yourself to be good or perfect. Just create something. In fact, sometimes I tell my students, play badly. Play that piece, but play it as badly as you can. Make all the mistakes that you can. Of course, they don't, right? So once you take off the pressure of having to be good, whatever that means,
That's cool.
so it opens the door. So whatever you're doing, just set out and say, okay, I'm going to write a really bad song. Just do it. And then you have something to work with, even if it is a bad song, which probably won't be, but even if it is, then you can go back and edit and change things, right? But when you've got
Sure.
that like, I only have half an hour and I need, let's say, just say it's writing a song, and I need to write a really good song, it's not going to happen.
No. Good point. Very good point. Yeah, we drive ourselves pretty hard, and that kind of can drive self censorship. And I'm a big believer in, you know, like the right brain and the left brain are completely opposite. So if one of them is taking their turn, right, the other one should kind of wait for their turn. Because when you, especially if you're in that right brain mode and you're being creative and ideas are coming, that sucks. No, don't bother with that, right? And then you self censor yourself, and then the whole stream stops. You
Yeah,
know.
imagine if you were watching a child draw a house, right? You know how children draw a house. There's like a rectangle and then a triangle for the roof, that sort of thing, right? And you said, wait a minute, the perspective's all wrong here. You have no shading. Like, come on, your strokes are very primitive. How would that kid ever get good? They would just stop. But you just let them do what they're doing. And so a lot of times if you think of your creative self as a child, a separate maybe a separate being, or your inner child, if you want to use that hot tired
Mm-hmm.
phrase, um, and just say, all right, just speak to that child like that. Okay, good start. Now let's try this, and now let's try this, and then you're gonna accomplish a lot more than saying, those three chords have been used in succession for like 80% of songs. Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah. Good point.
Use the chords and then figure out how you can throw in a chord that nobody else has used there. All of a sudden you've got something that's familiar enough that it won't be like, what is that weird song? But also there's something interesting about it because you threw in a chord in a certain place that most people don't do.
Well, and I mean, like the song we were talking about before we started that I'm going to be learning when we hang up here, "Learning to Fly." You know, I was just walking in the grocery store, getting my coffee, which Khalifa coffee. Yeah, getting my coffee, and I heard it come on the radio, and I was like, I can do that, you know. And then I was sitting there and I was listening to it, and by the third time through the progression, I was like, okay, I heard it was F C A minor G, you know. Then I was like, as I was walking to get my coffee and walking out, I was listening to what the song did, and it was literally just four chords, just F C A minor G, F C A minor G, F C A minor G, louder and softer, but guitar solo here, you know, outro there, but it was just F C A minor G. So sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and then we were also talking about another Tom Petty song, "Free Fallin'." It's literally the same chords throughout the whole song.
Well, a
But
lot of guitar
the
players
chorus-
play it wrong too.
Do
Free
they?
Fallin', oh dude, a lot of guitar players play it wrong. They oversimplify it and they lose half the beauty of it. There's just a couple of sus2 chords in there that need to be sus2 chords.
So when I was band director at a church, I was the pianist, band director, and then there was bass, you know, drums, singer, and all that, guitar. And we had one particular song. We would just, you know, do like 5 or 6 songs per service, and I would say, oh, this is the Free Fallin' one, and then everybody would knew, okay, those are the chords, and that's the feel. So much, and it's such a like everybody knows it, right? And I think part of the thing that gets to you, that gets it stuck in your head, is the repetition. The feel, it doesn't really change, right? We're very far from where we started, but the point is, how you do something is probably more important than what you do. So the way that Tom Petty did the songs, it wasn't because the songs were groundbreaking. They weren't.
Yeah.
But he was Tom Petty. Something about the way that he performed and wrote the songs spoke to a lot of people.
Yeah, he had a really unique voice too. And it's you know, like Free Fallin' is just so high too. Like that's the thing. I avoid that song too, just because you don't want to hear me sing that. You come on.
Just change the key, put a keyboard on, and go.
I could lower it like a fourth or something, and then it'd be in my range. But no, you don't want to hear that. Like I said. Okay, so moving on here. This is sort of a project question. So when you're embarking on a project, do you pre-plan the entire thing, or do you kind of follow where your intuition leads you? Like, is it some sort of combination of these things?
Depends on the project. If I'm making a course for people to learn something, then I basically start with like the end. What do I want people to be able to do at the end? And I work backwards.
That's good.
But if I'm like writing a piece of music, I usually start with a feel or a title. I'm very visual, so I imagine a scene, and then I try to do it on the piano or whatever I'm writing for, and then it goes wherever it goes.
That's cool. Good answer. Concise. I like it.
All right. I'll try to keep them short.
No, we're good. We're good. We've talked a lot about money in the original podcast, and there was questions about promoting your art, advice for creative business, and then I'm just going to kind of combine all this into one question. So, thinking in the vein of promoting your art, and also offering advice to someone who wants to be creative for a living in such uncertain times, how have you enabled yourself to stay creative and working while so many others are struggling?
I mean, I'm struggling too, but I don't stay in the struggle. I'm very pragmatic. I just keep moving. Just keep moving. Keep creating, and then you can't control the result, but you can control the process, and that's what I do.
Yeah. I'm a musician, and, it's not happening right now. It hasn't been happening for however long. And people are like, well, then just do something else. Go be a cashier.
I mean, you can.
Stock shelves.
You can do all of those things. You can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, at a very, very young age, I would say before I reached double digits, I looked around me and I said, okay, so people go to work, they pay their bills, they have a couple of kids maybe, then they have a couple of grandkids, and then at some point they die. And I was like, that's life? Huh? No. So yeah, can I go get a job and make a steady income? Of course I can, but I want to figure out, like, why am I here in this world? It's probably not to be a cashier. There's nothing wrong with being a cashier at all, but that doesn't speak to me. So yeah, you can do whatever you want. You can go get a job that will pay you a lot more than being a musician. But then you're spending your time doing that job, and that's your time is your life. So if you want to do that, fine. If you have people that you have to take care of, then you need to do what you need to do to make money, right? So there's so many different factors involved. Like, I don't even know what the question was at this point. But you do what you have to do, and you kind of figure out what you want to do and see if you can combine those things somehow.
And so I'm going to do what I have to do right now. And I'm going to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you guys, our patrons, our bestest supporters. Please continue to support us. You can, of course, increase your donations to us. That would help us. And for me, I have some additional ways you can support. If you want to support nonprofit, you can go to liberapay.com/MatthewsMusic, and you can send money as directly to me as possible. Help me reach my weekly funding goal for the studio. You can also send me a tip on Venmo at MatthewsMusic, and buy me a coffee. Everybody, I'm going to need a coffee for tomorrow, so you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/MatthewsMusic. Everybody, if you're not subscribed to Marina, make sure you subscribe to her. Marina, is there anything else you want to say to our patrons here about contacting you or what you're up to before we finish this video?
I think if you just, follow me on Facebook or join my group on Facebook and watch my videos. Oh, I forgot. I do have a mailing list.
Ooh, okay, tell us about your mailing list.
So I send out about a weekly, very short email, either like doing some encouragement or letting you know of a video that's coming out, or reminding people that there is a video that's already existing that answers a lot of questions. So I can give you the link to that mailing list. I will never sell your information or spam you.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Marina. You've been an incredible guest on Flowering Creativity. We really appreciate you. And everybody, we'll see you next time on Flowering Creativity bonus content.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marina.